What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport. I can't thank you enough for joining me today. I know things suck out there right now, but let's take advantage of this and start enjoying some good videos, learning some things, and also just sitting back, relaxing with your family and enjoying the time that you have with them. What I want to do is give you guys as much content as possible, and I'm really enjoying jumping into doing this whole body kit on this sc300. It's been a hell of a job to do because of all the imperfections in the car, the body kit itself just not being a perfect match. But we're getting there, guys. If you saw the last video, we got this side skirt on and then realized it was for the 50mm front fender, so this is not lining up. I've got an idea for that. I'm hoping to get to that by the end of this video, but what I want to do is work on cutting this edge here, and that's supposed to line up with the 50mm fender, but what we can do is then tuck this up under there, and I can use some fiberglass to kind of blend all of this and reshape all of this. Now, outside of that, we've already got our over fenders on, and they're pretty well lined up. We've got our rivets put in, and I'm going to talk about and show you guys how we're going to basically cover those rivets and also get a nice smooth body. And one of the main things we're going to do today is start working on fiberglassing this in and using some fiberglass filler. All of these products I'm going to step over there in a second and talk about, but I just wanted to show you where we're going to be going on this episode, and we'll be walking around this side. A lot of this is really good on the bumper. I think I just need to fill that there, and then this here we're going to have to do a little bit similar work where we're going over some of the rivets and all that stuff, but this one's lining up a lot better. So let's go ahead and step over there and talk about the fiberglass. Alright guys, so most people are familiar with this traditional Bondo right here. This is the traditional material. Now, the confusing thing is Bondo's the brand and not the product, but most people consider Bondo, when they're referring to Bondo, as this body filler here. So this basically is going to be a two-part filler, just like each one of these, that traditional red color, and you want to mix it till it's about a pink. You get used to that as you're doing it. You don't want it to harden too quick or get too hard. This is your final coat prior to maybe doing a spot fill or a glazer. So this is basically what you put on when you're trying to fill in like a small hole, a small crack, something very minimal, or trying to smooth out some metal surface. Now, when you have bigger holes, which we're dealing with on the back of our body panel, which we'll step over there in a little bit, you want to use sheets of fiberglass. So these are sheets right here. You'd cut these to size, and then fiberglass resin, two-part once again. You'd mix it, dip the sheet in, and then you can put that on, and it allows you to create an actual surface. The next one that you're going to be able to use is Bondo glass. So this would be more of the order of how you would use them. So the Bondo glass, and keep in mind, I am not a professional body person, but I have spoken with quite a few people to kind of confirm that these should be the way you do it. But of course, fill me in the comments if you guys know of a better way. But this is how I'm going to start my project, and of course I can change if you guys give me some better ideas. So Bondo glass is the product I've used before. It's used for small hole fillings as well as like reshaping a body line. So we're going to be putting this sheet on, and let's say we wanted to build it up to create like more of a curvature surface, which is what we're going to do. This works out really good. Also, when covering up the rivets, you don't want to use this because it will crack. This right here is what you want to use, and then after you sand it down to a rough surface, you want to put this on to make it smooth, and then possibly use your glazing putty to create a very smooth surface. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. I just wanted to go over it quickly. Let's step out to the car now. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do. Keep in mind, you want to make sure all surfaces are very rough before applying any of this. So using at least 80 grit sandpaper to create a rough surface, and that's what we're going to start with right now. Alright, so we're going to start with roughening up the surface with this 80 grit sandpaper. I'm going to throw a mask on now. Alright guys, after sanding this, I realized that what I want to do is get this rear tail light out so that we can actually get in that surface without hitting that. Real simple. 10mm bolts. I'm just going to basically undo each one of these and pull our tail light out. That way we can continue without messing up our tail light. Alright, now that we got our tail light out and the surface sanded down, we're just going to use some isopropyl alcohol, which is hard to come by right now, and just use a little bit of that, wipe down our surface here, just to get all the dust and crap that's in here off so that the fiberglass will stick better. Now let's go set up our fiberglass. Alright guys, so we went ahead and pre-cut our sheet to fit into that area. I'm going to set that aside right now. I've got gloves on, and what we're going to do is use our resin here. So basically the ratio goes, if you use a quarter can of your resin, you're going to use a quarter bottle of the hardener. So it's kind of an estimate. So I'm only going to use as much as I think I need to put this sheet on. Now keep in mind, you're supposed to brush some on the surface, and then you want to get your cloth wet and kind of apply it that way. I don't have a brush, and so we're gonna basically, I'm just gonna put it on with these gloves, a little bit on the surface, and then we'll kind of mix our sheet in and get it nice and done. So let's go ahead and open up our resin, get that mixed, and then let's step over to the car. Alright, I got our cloth fully coated, and I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and apply some. You want to try not to drip it, because this stuff hardens pretty good on there, and then you'll have to sand it off. So just try to get it in the area that you're using. And let's go ahead now and get our cloth really mixed up here, so it's got all of the resin and hardener on it. Alright, so while the fiberglass is drying, because we're going to basically put that the Bondo glass stuff on there over that and smooth that out. But while we're waiting for it, let's go ahead and fix up our side skirt. So I've already went ahead and marked. Now I'm going to do it slowly. My goal is probably to get closer to about here, because I only need maybe about that much of an edge, and then I'm going to be able to blend that fender in. So we're going to start by cutting this and seeing if we can press it up against. I don't know how much flex we're going to have. And then, of course, I really jacked it up over here. Don't do like me and try to rush this with a wheel grinder. And you can see here I hit, but we can fix that. I'm going to go ahead and fix this up. So I had went and picked up these sanding wheel things here to port and polish my Austin Healey, but we can go ahead and use this right now to basically adjust all this. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll speed through it, grind this up, we'll put it back on the car, see if we can get it to line up nicely, and then in the meantime, that fiberglass will be drying. Alright guys, so I'm actually very happy with the way this is coming out. I've got the that kind of bolted onto the inside of the car, and I can easily pull this here. Now what I want to do is go a little bit more, so what I can then do is blend that into that and create a nice little lip on this. Probably similar to the amount of lip that's on this from here. Now this is not bolted in either, but you see how I've got a little bit of lip? I think that'll look nice coming down this way with a small lip like that, and then all the way down to meet up with this like this. So I think it's gonna start looking really, really good. And what we can do then is kind of match that up on the other side before we put it in. So let's step back over there. I'm gonna mark it and we're gonna cut it again. So this section's fully cured. It's been 24 hours actually, but you want to wait at least 2 hours for your fiberglass sheets and resin to dry. And then I went ahead and re-prepped down the whole surface by sanding it and cleaning it down. Now we're going to go ahead and put on our Bondo glass. Let's step inside and look at that. Okay guys, so this is our Bondo glass. Now I took out a good amount because we got a lot of filling to do in that one area specifically. On the directions it says a golf ball size of this to 1.25 inches of your hardener, and you want to make sure you knead this to make sure that the liquid that separates gets mixed back in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I would say this is 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 size golf balls. I don't want to use too much hardener because I want to have enough time to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the camera over there so you guys can see me applying it. Alright guys, so this is kind of how it looks. I'm just going to keep mixing this just to make sure all the red is mixed in. And we're going to apply it as quick as possible so we avoid it getting hard before we get it on there. Alright guys, so I want to let you know this stuff is really easy to work with. I only had a few problems with it where it dripped, but if you just take your time, it goes on nice and smooth. With the amount of hardener I use, which I use about what they called for in the mix, I had plenty of time. So I tried not to overdo it with the hardener because I've seen videos where people ran out of time, and while you're filming you got to set up and all that stuff. So I got it on there nicely. It's pretty much hardened up now, and it's been about probably 15-20 minutes. But the nice thing about it is it works very similar to regular Bondo, where as it's drying you can scrape it up, and so I use the scraper to kind of get some of the excess that I don't need to have on there, so to keep my sanding down. Up in here you guys might have seen I had a screw here that I forgot to take out. That was one of the screws I put just to hold this in place while I did these couple of rivets here. So I'm gonna have to kind of fill this and blend this. So I still got a lot more to do in this area, but while that's completely curing, I went ahead and sanded this down. I put a bunch of rivets. Typically you're not going to need nearly this many rivets, but this was pulling off so far, and every time I put a rivet in I was getting a little bit of a warping, so I went ahead and just put rivets along here to kind of keep that nice and secure, and then I taped off the window edge. That way I can kind of blend this up here and we can get a nice smooth transition. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that now, and then we'll hopefully come back to this. I'll probably end the video with getting the side skirt completely set up and on. I'm still debating on if I want to go more cut to it and get it to press up in there. So I'm going to kind of take a look at it. I might screw it up in there to see how it looks when it would be fully assembled, and then I'll take it back off and kind of decide where I want to go. So stay tuned. We're going to get this all done up and then move on to the side skirts. Alright guys, so off camera I got a lot of the filling done, and the reason why I did that is I messed up and forgot to sand up in here, so I scraped all this off. It came off very easily, so if you can get this stuff shaped and molded as it's curing, like let's say you spill something, you can easily scrape it off. So I'm really liking working with this. I'm starting to get all this back here. So next step is really going to be to sand this and then go another coat here to really get this to kind of plane off, and then we're gonna have to kind of match up on the other side. So we're gonna have a lot of filling on the other side so that it bulks out just like this. But I'm really liking the way it's gonna look here. So the goal, just so you guys know, is we're not gonna have the line here, but I wanna keep this line along here. Now let's move on to the last thing. I went ahead and tacked up the side skirt, and I really like the way it looks with this little lip right here. So I could have basically shaved off this and got it to go up there flush. It does have some kind of funky design to it to probably match up with that larger 50mm fender, but I kind of like the shape of it. It's definitely something nobody else will have, because you wouldn't buy this side skirt if you didn't buy the 50mm front fender, or if you did, you probably kept the front stock and it looked really funky. So I think this is going to be obviously a one-of-a-kind, very unique body kit, specifically with these side skirts here being matched up to the 25mm front fenders versus the 50mm. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm probably going to end it right around here. I might go ahead and sand all this down so you guys can see the transitions all smoothed out, and then kind of finish up the film there. But I'm definitely gonna leave this alone. I want to get your guys' feedback if you like the way this side skirt is laying here, and if so, let me know in the comments. If you guys have a better idea, let me know in the comments. Alright guys, went ahead and got a new sander from Harbor Freight, so we're going to go ahead and use this with some 80 grit sandpaper. We're going to start with, and I've got some 100 grit over there as well. But we're going to go ahead and use this. I'm going to speed through a lot of this, so you're just going to see it in fast forward. I'll come back and we'll kind of go through everything, and we'll finish up a few more things, and then we'll end the video, and we'll move on to the next process on the next video. So stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and go through the sanding now. Well guys, this is how it's coming out, and I could not be happier. Now keep in mind, this is really, like I said earlier, the first heavy coat, but I'm blown away by how much of a difference this is already making. Now you can see here, I've got to put a thicker layer on here to cover up these rivets as I sanded through, and you can see there's still some divots. So I'm going to start finishing all that off camera, so the next time I film for you guys, it's going to be more finished off across here, and then we'll start finalizing this side skirt. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you guys think. Should I leave it with that little lip? I'm pretty much 90% there. I don't want to keep cutting this away and not be happy with the fitment, because it fits really nice right now. So I'm gonna have to pull this whole panel off for this next step and basically cut this down and then take a piece of fiberglass sheet and create an inward instead of the outward, which you see here, and basically level all this off. So it's going to take a lot of work. I'll do that all off camera, but you guys will see that on the next video. Also, if you're not on my Instagram, it's Pete's Carport on Instagram. I'll leave a link in the below, and also I'll put a link in the comments so you guys can find that. And I'll probably try to update you because I put daily posts on all my vehicles, what I'm doing on there, so you get more in depth of what I'm doing than just the random videos here and there. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, any suggestions you have, you know, moving forward, if you guys would like to see any other type of parts in this video. But I'm so happy with the way that this body kit's coming out. It's a lot of work, and it really is paying off. It's very satisfying to start seeing the progress of what you've put all your time into. So once again, guys, my name's Pete. This is Pete's Carport. If you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button, like the video. It helps me out a ton. And you guys have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll see you next time.